After years of neglect, the Guatemalan government finally recognized the importance of educating all of its children. By signing the Peace Accords in 1996, the government agreed to fund and support education for all parts of the country. They teamed up with international non-government organizations to build rural schools and provide for the salaries of teachers. However, many basic education needs are still unmet in rural areas. Schools lack access to education equipment, teaching materials, and technology. To meet these needs, a group of friends that had spent time traveling, volunteering, and supporting projects in Guatemala formed a nonprofit organization called Partners in Solidarity in the year 2000. Partners in Solidarity is based out of Eugene, Oregon. It was formed with the mission to support rural Guatemalan schools, clinics, and NGOs in their efforts to improve the quality of education and healthcare. It was funded through volunteer support, benefit concerts, and small grants. Every year, Partners in Solidarity volunteers fill an 8 by 8 by 40-foot shipping container with computers, medical equipment, school supplies, and classroom equipment. For months, we search and gather these materials from our community's trash cans, warehouses, hospitals, and schools. 90% of the materials are diverted from entering the landfill. Our community's trash still functions and serves people's needs. We just need to transport it. When the container arrives in Guatemala, a team of local and international volunteers help unload the container. We work with local NGOs to transport, store, and determine distribution of the materials. Over 30 rural schools, clinics, and NGOs receive donations. Since 2000, we have transported and donated 400 computer systems. All of these computers were considered trash in the U.S. We have set up 12 computer labs that are presently serving 1,675 elementary and middle school students in the Highland Department of Quetzaltenango. We have set up these labs in communities that the government would not support with a technological education. Traditionally, these communities have provided the cheap labor for sweatshops and field work. When the computers arrive in Guatemala, local and international volunteers work to load the computers with Spanish software. We provide technological support and training to the schools and create a network of Guatemalan volunteers to maintain the computers. Through alliances with Guatemalan schools and local NGOs, we have created a system of accountability that ensures that the donations are used with respect and responsibility. Our volunteers provide computer support to the school teachers and work with local NGOs to ensure that the computers will be maintained and used appropriately. We have created support manuals in Spanish and stay in regular contact with our Guatemalan partners. We make sure that the teachers, students, and parents know how to use and care for the computers.
I think that this project is something really special. Last year, Partners in Solidarity set up a computer lab at our community school. Having access to technology is better preparing our students for the future. They are using the computers to learn English, math, reading, art, and writing. Our students are poor and live in the outskirts of the big city, Xela. Because they are studying and learning about computers, they will have more opportunities in the future.
Muchas gracias a los amigos por su solidaridad.
No podemos seguir nosotros, digamos, en un siglo pasado, no tenemos que estar actualizados.
What we are realizing now is the importance for the Mayan people to preserve their culture and at the same time to adapt to the changes of the world. In the past, we were not given access to a full education. They taught us enough so that we would be good workers in the fields and sweatshops. Kids left school in the 3rd and 4th grade, sometimes even earlier. If things are going to change, we need to have a modern education that will allow us to communicate with the rest of the world and have a say in how our country develops. Partners in Solidarity projects like the Computer Academy and Cantel are helping rural communities like ours realize the dream of a full education.
Para las comunidades mayas ahora, nosotros tenemos que hacer esfuerzos también.
Well, for the Mayan communities today, we have to work hard so that we are not left behind. Since the signing of the peace accords in 1996, the government has been saying that they would provide equal access to all students in Guatemala. The government is building and funding some schools, but they are not providing equal access to all of the materials necessary for a good education. Schools in the city have more access to technology. That means that the schools that are in villages have less. If the youth in the rural areas don't receive a good education, they will continue to follow the cycle of living and working in poverty. A job in a sweatshop pays $2.50 a day. This wage cannot provide a decent living. With access to technology and the school equipment that Partners in Solidarity brings down, their chances of economic and educational success in the future has grown.
My name is Eddie, and the program that I like is the program Claris because you can play games.
¿De Claris?
Sí, porque ahí se puede jugar y jugar.
¿Y has aprendido cómo?
Have you ever learned to type?
Sí,
Yes, a
Con
little.
la tecla, con
sí,
teclado.
puedo escribir un poquito.
Muy bien.
Yo me llamo José Miguel,
Ajá.
que es bueno jugar con las computadoras porque uno aprende a escribir.
My name is Jose Miguel. It is good to use the computers because one can learn how to write, play, and many other things.
Estilo, todas esas cosas.
Computer education provides important opportunities for rural students. In Guatemala, a higher education is only possible for students who know how to use computers. It is a prerequisite for university entry. In many rural areas, young people often leave school early for work in fields or the factories. A higher education that includes technology will provide young people with more choices and more opportunities. In 2004, Partners in Solidarity visited different municipalities in the Department of Quetzaltenango. We met with school directors, teachers, families, and local school officials. We were invited by the communities to evaluate their schools for computer labs. We listened to their requests and heard how important it was that their kids get access to a complete education. An education that will provide them with all the tools for a successful future. We have decided to do everything we can to continue our projects and to work with new communities.